Yo, guys, how are you doing? Interisti around the world. It's a sensitive time for Interisti right now. Of course, we know why. Last night we had our hearts broken by a Spaniard by the name of Rodrigo or Rodri, who plays for a team that's not too far from me here in England, called Manchester City, just about 2 hours up the road from me. Spain without the S, yes, Hasimo, exactly. But as Victor says, the title of today's video is inspired by our commander-in-chief Inzaghi, and we will get into this. But basically, we go again. We go again, guys. We lick our wounds. As Pep Guardiola said last night, I listened to the interviews. Inzaghi, Guardiola, Man City guys, Inter guys, struggled to sleep last night. And they all, Guardiola specifically said, Inter have to learn from the same way we did. They lost the final 2 years ago, and they said, you have to be sad. That's part of the process. If you're not sad, there's something not right with you. So you have to be sad 3-4 days, he said, and then afterwards move on and plan and see how you can recover. So that's we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're also prepared the usual. Yes, last night I didn't prepare any screenshots or anything. I mean, I pulled up those misses from Lukaku and Lautaro, but I pulled up a bit more of a tactical analysis, I guess. I never like to call it analysis really, because I'm not really a tactical analyst, but I try to give it my best. I try to give it a go, but I hope you guys are doing better, guys. I know it still hurts. It's still, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to get over. I'm sure maybe some people are built different. Some of you guys might have recovered already, but the way we lost last night, as Mighty Mo says, because we were so close, because we played so well, and because we knew we could have played even better, it hurts that little bit more. But what I'm happy about, what's up, Kirby? Hope you're doing well. What I'm happy about is that we showed the world. I mean, we represented Italy quite well, but we showed the world Inter. Like, people were counting us out. Oh, it's going to be 4-0. It's going to be 5-0. It's going to be, Man City going to win this easy. I think at least one thing we can be proud about is that these guys showed to the world that we are not to be messed with. Yes, we have 1/10 of Man City's budget. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. On the pitch, the story was different. It was marginal. The difference in the end was very, very marginal. And let's see if we can build on this. That's the most important thing. Another thing that Guardiola said is that it's about being there again and again and again. He gets called Fraudiola. I guess quite rightly in the Champions League, he gets called this, that, But what he said is that my team, Man City, they're there every single season. Whether it's a semi-final, final, they lose it, final, now they win it, quarter-final, but you have to keep being there. That's the important thing. You don't, if you're a flash in the pan, that's what happens. You go back to Inter's 2010. Inter at least were getting. We were the reason why Mancini got fired from Mourinho, because we felt like we could be doing more. We were getting to the round of 16, quarterfinals, but we're just not getting to those stages afterwards. But this Inter team just needs to continue. We cannot go back into a banter era where we're not making these Champions Leagues. Who else is in the house? Giannis, what's up? The thing is, Man City, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that type of stuff, especially after losing to them. If you want to research into that, do your own research. I think things will catch up to them at some point. But yeah, do your own research around the allegations with Man City, financial fair play. They've definitely circumnavigated those rules in ways that they shouldn't be able to. But this is not the time to talk about it. Oh, I guess my channel is definitely never going to be the time to talk about it. Eduardo, what's up, brother? There's only room to grow. Exactly. I like that. Need a positive market. We are right there. Yeah, and that's what we're going to focus in the summer, guys. This whole summer, you know what it is. No more matches. There's going to be transfer news galore. And, I'll make my videos on what I think Inter should be doing. I'll react to, obviously, what Inter are doing. and give my opinions on those, and of course ask you guys what your opinions are as well. We got some Milanisti in the house. Labrilla says, hello Interisti from a Milanista. Keep this as a rare compliment. Calcio is not back, but Inter is back. You guys look like the real deal. Well, it depends, Lab Gorilla. Yeah, I mean, that advert, we said it as soon as it came out, that advert, you know, Capello, Luca Toni, Calcio is back. Nice advert, a bit cringy, but a bit too early. But also, Italian football is starving, so I can't even blame them for like making that advert being, you know, in that moment. It's like, let's take advantage of this rare moment that we're actually 3 Italian teams in the final, and then we went 3 for 3 L's in these finals. But yeah, same. I think, but it also applies to Inter, Lab Gorilla. If it's just one season, then Inter are not back. We need to be able to sustain this, and we need to be able to do it in the league, because we make fun of Man City. I mean, I'll get into it afterwards with Inzaghi in the future, but our obsession is the Scudetto. Like, we want to get that second star before Milan. We're on 19 Scudetti, like Milan are. We want that number 20. I want that number 20 more than anything in the world. That is becoming our obsession, and it backfired on us this season in the league. Like, we clearly just, like, I don't know, crumbled. These guys just crumbled. But we're back. I mean, we're back in this season, like last few years, we're back. But what we want to see as Interisti is whether we can maintain it, to be honest. Smiling pain, but oh well, crazy that we made it even to the final in the first place. Yeah. But again, when you look at the run, Smiley, like, not to say that we had an easy run, because people that call us an easy run, they're out of their minds, because this Benfica team, everyone's hyping it. Porto are never easy. And actually, if you think about it, out of all the teams that we played in the run-up, guys, which was the hardest team? It was actually Porto. If you think back, the Milan, it got like progressively easier in some way. It was like Porto, the round of 16 was the hardest game. Then Benfica, we made it easy because we played so well against Benfica. And then Milan was like, you know. So again, people just making fun of that run. You play who you get given. But at the same time, when you look at it, that run, I would be expecting Inter to be beating those teams as well. And if we didn't, I'll be also, you know, putting that on Inzaghi if we didn't beat them. Yesterday wasn't the day after the loss. We could have. Now let's go. We got to build for next year for winning. Exactly, brother. Exactly. What else we got in the house? Kirby says we have the core to continue to build on this, but we need investment from soon to keep moving forward. The core of this team includes Onana and Brozzo that cannot be touched. Yeah. We need to keep the core. There are going to be 1 or 2 guys that are going to have to be touched by, you know, we can't keep as a, like, surely we've learned from like the Skriniar situation as well, guys. Like, we can't be attached too much to every single one of these players. Some sacrifices somewhere are going to have to be made, whether Suning invest or not. But the core, the majority of the core needs to be kept for sure. Onana, unless it's a crazy offer, has to be kept. You saw last night, everyone's drooling over Onana, quite rightly. Yeah, I mean, Inzaghi is definitely showing those signs. Lucas, isn't he? Like, you know, when we signed him, I was happy that we signed him, and I was ready to build a multi-year project with this guy, but he needs to be given the ingredients to be making that multi-year project. Yeah, Gosham, how are you feeling now? I think I'm proud, but still devastated. Yeah, still the same feelings are still the same, Anti-Juice, bro. The feelings are still the same for me. Proud, sad, disappointed. But, you know, getting there for sure. What's Amedeo? Is Amedeo gifting? Oh, wait, let me check. Amedeo, what are you up to? Sorry, because I can't StreamYard doesn't actually show these types of things, like gifting memberships and things like that. Let's have a look. Oh, wow, 10 memberships, bro. Amedeo. Wow, that is way too generous, brother. Thank you very much. Appreciate that a lot, Amedeo. He's actually, I think Amedeo actually probably is if I go back, I think he's the first ever channel member as well. I opened the channel membership, not this season, last season. And I think he was the first ever channel member as well, Amedeo. So he's, been supporting the channel since day one. And, I will be doing, as I said, I will be doing a giveaway for the members, because you guys need to be rewarded for supporting the channel. I do always do those general giveaways as well, but I want to do... Yeah, let me know, actually, guys. Do you want I would like. I know I said I'll release more of those Limone Ball shirts if we win the Champions League. I probably won't release them full, but if channel members, let me know. Do you guys want if I do a giveaway? Would you prefer it to be the Limone Ball shirts or an Interkit? Usually we do Interkit, but up to you guys. I mean, because we haven't got the new kits yet. It would be like an old kit. So up to you guys. You guys decide, channel members, how you want to do it. But once again, Amadeo, really, really appreciate that. This match versus City showed me that we can hang with anyone, improve the squad, and I'm sure we'll be back. Yeah, that's the thing. The 10x. That's what I even was saying last year, or even when our squad was being dismantled. Yes, it's important to invest in football, but you can still make smart investments and build a team without having all that money. We've seen that. And like Serie A is the perfect example of that. Napoli this year, they built this team on like a plus budget as well. Like, they sold Koulibaly, let Insigne, Mertens go. Like, in terms of outlay, maybe they had a little bit more than they brought in, but it was minimal what Milan did the previous year, and that's what I keep saying. And luckily at the moment with Juventus, all that stuff going on, they were the one superpower in Italy that could outspend each team and just kind of create this like dynasty, because they could just keep outspending the others, buy the best players within. Like, remember these guys, Napoli are challenging. Who's your best striker? Higuain, 90 million, bring him in. Kind of doing what Bayern Munich used to do, or still do in the Bundesliga. But now we don't have that. Now everything is quite. I don't know who the financial superpower is in the Serie A. I mean, revenue wise, it still is Juve, but because of all their issues, they're not. So there's quite a level playing field in Serie A. European, it will be difficult, but again, as last night showed, the gap isn't as bad as you might think it is at all. Chelsea definitely want, and they need Onana. I've been saying all season, like those types of teams where the keeper is not that guy, definitely need someone like Onana. So we have to be watching out. Hey, Ahmed Yassin, what's up, brother? Hope you are doing well. To the core, me being Onana, Basti, Di Marco, Brozo, and Bare, Lautaro. Yep, I agree. 2022, 2 free transfers, 4 loan. Marotta Magic win Serie A. Yeah, I mean that is what he does, Marotta, and that's why I said when he renewed his contract, I will remain confident until this guy is at Inter. We'll get into that, Victor. We'll get into that. How can you become a channel member? I don't actually know, because I think if you're watching by mobile, I don't think it lets you, Lucas. I think it only lets you do it via desktop, but it's a button underneath the video that says join, if you're interested. But as always, never any pressure for you guys to join. If you want to join, I'm happy either way, but thank you. And yeah, of course, also lots of contracts expiring. Yeah, the way Onana consoled, I don't know, you guys, if you've seen that video, Onana with Lautaro, like telling him, it's always Lautaro. Lautaro is always the one that needs to be consoled. Like, it was Barella last year after the Scudetto telling him, don't worry, we'll be there again. And this year it was Onana. It looks like he was telling him, we'll bounce back, brother. This is football. Don't worry about it. Hey, Mattia, hope you're doing well, brother. And yes, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I hope our players can bounce back from this. Yeah, 100%. I think, as Lautaro said last night, the Europa League final for him, that was when that was his first season proper as a starter into the Inter team, him and Lukaku. And that loss, he said, that was the final on which we built the Scudetto season after, the Coppa Italia, two Supercoppas, two Coppa Italia. So after that Europa League loss, we've got 4 trophies. That was his point. So and Inzaghi also alluded to this, that this can be the building block. Like, this is not like the end of a cycle. This is, we can't even say the beginning of a cycle because we're in the middle of one. So, but just the continuation, we can continue on this cycle with this core of this team still, if they use this as fuel to to continue and improve the players, but also the management. Yeah, of course, Korea. Some of these guys 100% need to go, make way, make money for us to reinvest. Yeah, conversation needs to be had about Dzeko as well, the renewal and all that kind of stuff for sure. No worries, Antijus. Thank you for coming through. Hey, Huyam, brother, how you doing? With so many holes in the team and the roster next season, I would be surprised if we sold a big player plus Dumfries this season. Yeah, I mean, Dumfries is definitely on the chopping block. If an offer comes, we know, and he should be. If it's 20, 30 million plus, he has to be. We have to consider it for sure. But yeah, the all the free contracts, free transfers leaving us is going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be an interesting summer for sure. But again, it's not necessarily how much money you spend. It's more about how that money is spent. And if you spend it on, the Correa of the situation, then it comes back to bite you. But even if you manage to get more Mkhitaryan's and the Cherbis, you can still keep going. But it's more of a stopgap. It's more of a putting a bandage on the wound rather than healing the wound with a long-term buy. But it can still work. It's a weird conundrum, and Marotta is good at doing this, as I've alluded to many times. I don't know if he's the right guy at the moment, Marotta, for us with this ownership, because usually Marotta is the one. If you are this financial powerhouse, you bring in Marotta, and together you dominate. But when you're not the financial powerhouse like we are right now, it's difficult. I don't know if Marotta is that guy. But again, I still want to give Marotta the trust. He will go down in history as one of the GOATs of Italian directors, maybe if not the GOAT of Italian directors in the history of Calcio. So I will be confident as long as he is at the helm. And Lucas, there you go. he found his way to the channel membership. Appreciate you, and he will be part of the giveaway that we'll be doing soon. But yeah, you guys didn't reply whether you would prefer. Maybe I'll just do I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll on the community tab to ask you guys. To be fair, it's just easy for me to do the Limone Ball shirt because I can just get that ordered to anyone around the world. So we'll probably just do a Limone Ball shirt if obviously you want it. If the member says he wants something else, then we'll find something else to give away. But the Limone Ball would just make my my life easier. Hey, Chris, I haven't seen you in there in a while. I'm absolutely devastated, but there's much bigger things coming for Internazionale. You mentioned a few times you wanted me to come on sometime. We'd love to talk. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I can always tell you always got lots of opinions and always very well written as well, detailed. So yeah, you missed the last couple of days when we were doing call-in shows, last couple of weeks. But obviously we'll be continuing to do that over the season. But anyway, let me get into my slideshow, guys. Apologies if I miss your comments and stuff now because I'll be focused on the slideshow, but obviously I'll come back every time to catch up with your comments, so give me a chance. First of all, shouts out to you guys, every single one of you guys in this chat, and Interisti around the world. Like this picture coming from the San Siro yesterday, 50,000 I believe it was, packing out half, because they only opened half of the stadium for the big screen showing the final. Look at that atmosphere, looked amazing. And of course, you guys, like me, the people that watch from home, maybe you went to a pub, wherever you went to watch it, a watch party with your families, with your friends. The support this season has been unreal. On average, Inter got the number one highest attendance in Serie A. We beat every other team. We beat even our cousins, AC Milan, in the same stadium, showing that we are the best fans in Italy, but not just in Italy, around the world. So shouts out to you guys. On this channel, supporting me, Inter Worldwide, any Inter content out there. Appreciate you guys all season. It's been a great ride. It's been an up and down roller coaster ride, but appreciate you all. And yesterday, if there was a trophy for fans at the Ataturk Stadium in Istanbul, our fans beat the Man City fans easily. The choreography from the Curva Nord, organized, simple, just black and blue Inter covering that side of the stadium. Simple but effective, beautiful. Singing loudly, with passion, all not just in the stadium, but all around the the fan park, the fan zones, what you call them, around there, but everywhere. So thank you to you guys, and thank you to all Interisti around the world. This was a great ride, a great season to remember for all. Now the second slide that I want to talk about is Limone Inzaghi, man. This guy, straight after the loss, came out and said, we want another final. And he said, I think we can go back to another final. This guy, if you go back to last season, guys, remember when they asked him last season, which game would you replay? Would it be the Milan derby 2-1 that you lost, which probably cost us the Scudetto, or it was the beginning of the loss of the Scudetto when we were in the lead? Or would you replay the Liverpool Champions League game? And this guy, much to my annoyance and a lot of Interisti's annoyance, said, I want to replay the Liverpool game, brother. I want to go back to Anfield with Alexis Sanchez without the red card and beat those guys. That's what basically he was saying. And he's shown it. He's shown that this is the competition he cares about. This is, to him, I mean, it is a superior competition, but he's showing it that this is, this is his home. He feels like this is what he wants to be competing in. And when they asked him as well, he said, like, when you look back to the Real Madrid game last year and Liverpool game from last year, that's why he said, like, he feels that in those 4 games or 5 games, so 2 against Liverpool, 2 against Madrid, and 1 against Man City now, he feels that these are the games where Inter show that they're not inferior to anyone. And I agree with him. And when he says now that he wants another Champions League final, I believe this guy. I believe in Limone. I believe in Limone, guys. I don't know if you guys do, but the way this guy speaks, again, I always criticize him for not being the most charismatic and the most, impactful speaker. And I don't think he ever will be. Like, you either have it or you don't. If you're charismatic or not, it is what it is. But last night, what he was talking about, his words, he convinced me. And I'm very happy that he has at least another year's contract. According to reports, they are trying to extend it, or they will extend it in the summer for another year, which, after this, he probably does deserve. But I am very, very happy. Yes, at one point, I admit I was Inzaghi out after the 10-11 loss of the season. But this guy is really giving me belief going into next season. If, and this is to Steven Zhang, of course, he's not watching this, but Steven, you have to back this guy. You have to give him the ingredients to cook. There's only so much creativity Inzaghi can do in the kitchen with these free transfer ingredients that you're giving him. We need to be giving him the ingredients like Man City. Kevin De Bruyne gets injured. They will know. Oh, obviously these are youth players, so it doesn't even count. But Phil Foden is their backup. They have a guy that barely played all season, Calvin Phillips. They spent 55 million on the Yorkshire Pirlo from Leeds. That guy has barely played this season. They brought on Kyle Walker in the second half. It's the depth of these teams is crazy. They have Julian Alvarez on the bench, who actually, the guy who usurped Lautaro Martinez, that's their backup to Erling Haaland. Like, that's the depth that you have in Europe, some of these European teams. So that's where Inzaghi needs to be backed. Mattia also believes in Limone. He's one of the best cup coaches in the world. 100%, bro. 100%. Sunil says we have found out jealous Nilanisti and Gobbi actually are. Yeah, I mean, those guys today, they're having the field day, rubbing it in. It is what it is. That's the game. We would be doing the same, especially with Juve. We love making fun of Juve when they lose the Champions League final. It's part of the game. I accept it. But yeah, it's silly. They look silly. He's still a young manager, can improve in League Two. Yeah, that's when we talk about Inzaghi, he has to deliver in the league next season. Like, again, I was a lot of people didn't agree with me, but I think the squad is proving it. Like I always said, this squad is one of the strongest in the league. and Inzaghi needs to be doing much better in the league. The Suning, Marotta, like the why he was criticized so heavily is because of the league performance. Like he should have been at least challenging for the title this season. So, you know, he has to do much better in the league next season. But I'm willing to continue giving him that trust. But the league performance has to improve. But again, he needs to be given the depth to be able to rotate properly within. Because we know this guy likes all the competition. He doesn't sacrifice competitions like some managers do. You saw what Sarri did this season with Lazio. Yes, they overachieved in the league. They got, to second position. Great. But ask Lazio fans, would they have not liked to win a Conference League like Mourinho did last year? I'm sure they would have liked to win a Conference League or go deep, have a deep run in the Europa League. So financially, getting top 4, everything is nice. But it's not easy juggling 3 competitions. And Inzaghi does somehow manage to do it, but he does need the depth to do it for sure. Anad also believes in his Mr. Inzaghi. Chris, with a big donation. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you a lot more. And there is more than another UCL final coming. Yes, look at this guy. Always super, super confident. Appreciate your donation very much, brother. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Have you heard about the fact that the next 2, Barcelona, Newcastle, Inter, was the 3rd club that made? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe that report, Lucas. I really don't believe it. I did read that report. It was, but I don't see it confirmed by multiple sources. I only saw one source speaking about that. I don't know how was that offer made in monopoly money. I don't know. It's unless they meant Inter Miami, as in they must have, unless they confused Inter or Inter Miami, Lucas. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Knicks Knox. They need to shut up. I wonder if Holland's found a way. Yeah, Acerbi, bro. He was one of those guys that turned up last night for sure. I think on a reflection I think last night when Anthony and Mo asked me, I think I said DiMarco, Brozovic man of the match. On reflection, I think it was Acerbi. He didn't put one foot wrong. The guy was perfect last night. Couldn't ask for anything more. Second style, no excuses. Sunit, 100%. 100%. Continuing. Again, as I said, I listened to everyone's interviews last night, not just Inter ones. And Pep said Inter are the second best team in Europe. And he means this in a way that in 2021, they lost the final to Chelsea. And he said that meant that in 2021, we were the second best team in Europe after Chelsea. And he said to Inzaghi, I say, you need to look at this Inter team as the second best team in Europe. But it is what it is, guys. That's how competitions work. Yes, probably you could say, we got smacked around by Bayern twice. Probably, they're better than us, or there are other teams that are better than us. But objectively, that's the reason why we have these tournaments, these competitions. And Inter getting all the way there, getting a silver medal, means that this year we were the second best team in Europe. So I like that kind of way to spin that from Guardiola to, like, when you think about it, to this season, we were the second best team in Europe. And yeah, as I mentioned before, Guardiola talked about it's about being there, consistently. So that's the most important thing. And he I make fun of Guardiola a lot, and lots of you make fun of Guardiola for being a bit fake and stuff. But he was still full of praise for Inzaghi and us after the game. He talked about how good Onana is. He talked about how good our style of play and our patterns of play are and all that kind of stuff. So respect to Guardiola, and he's, whatever you think of him, checkbook manager. And he hasn't managed a smaller team like Mourinho has maybe, but when it comes to this guy's got 2 trebles now. He's got 3 trebles with 2 different, and he's done it one. Well, he's done it with 2 different teams. Like he did it with one with Barcelona, and now one with Man City. In the leagues as well, like, this guy is definitely the greatest of our generation now. Like, unfortunately, I think this win now has taken him to that level. Because when we talk about players, we never throw that accusation at players. I mean, I'm digressing now. I shouldn't be talking about this, but we don't say to Messi like, oh, you need to play for Rayo Vallecano now, or you need to go play for Boca Juniors for us to really consider you to go. But with Guardiola, we say like, no, you need to go manage Brescia, you need to go manage Accrington Stanley, and then prove yourself to be the best. I don't know why when it comes to Pep, it has to be that kind of conversation. And he came to shake Inzaghi's hand straight away afterwards. There's a video out there where, final whistle blows, and before celebrating with the team, he goes straight to Inzaghi to congratulate him. So respect to Pep, as much fun of I make of him, but I do respect him a lot. Inzaghi changed out. Yeah, that definitely Inzaghi used Conte's blueprint and improved on it when it comes to European football for sure. I think he's shown that it's suited to European football. Our football is suited to European football much more. With the right players, elite Limone ball will come. Yeah, I would love to see Inzaghi with Pep's budget. And I don't think it's going to be far the day that we see that, guys. I don't think everyone realizes that this guy is going to be in demand from big teams. He's going to be in demand for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised this summer if he isn't linked to some big teams in Premier League, especially, obviously. And yeah, if you guys haven't seen that video, wait, let me see if I can pull it up. I posted it on my Twitter. Like, this guy on the sideline, if you cannot criticize this guy in terms of passion for sure, because this guy put it all on the line last night. Where is it? There it is. You see him there. Look where he is. Look where he is. It comes. Look how far into the pitch this guy literally thinks he's still playing as a striker or Lazio, and he has to be stopped. And he's like, "Get off me!" Like, the passion that this guy puts in cannot be criticized whatsoever. What a guy! What a guy! He deserved a lifetime contract just for that, to be honest. Back to my slideshow. And tactically, guys, this guy outclassed Pep last night. Tactically, he won the match. He didn't win the game, but tactically, he won the game. Like, on paper, and how he managed to get his team to carry out, of course, the players also for following those instructions. They really put in a beautiful shift. And Inzaghi prepared it perfectly, but unfortunately, details do matter. And in the end, Man City came out on top. But tactically, he prepared the perfect game, pressing-wise. And, as a lot of EPL fanboys underestimated Inter, I don't know where you're from, Lesego, who you... I thought, so you're a Man City fan. So, yeah. People just underestimated Inter a lot. People thought... they just stick with these stereotypes that, it's an Italian team. They'll sit back. They won't press, whatever. But, we showed the world that this is, Limone ball is about. This is how Inzaghi wants to play. And that's another thing that needs to be backed on. He can't, like, as much as Acerbi has been good, as much as Darmian has been good, Inzaghi wants to play with a higher defensive line. And for that, he needs an Akanji, an Ake, or a Ruben Diaz, or a Walker. Like, he needs the guys that Pep has. That's why he's able to play such a high line. That's why we wanted Bremer. That's why I hope that the centre-backs that we're linked with in the summer are athletic. First of all, it has to be the right athletic profile. It has to be someone able to cover ground. It has to be someone be able to leave 40, 50 yards behind him and be able to be comfortable recovering if there is someone running in behind, because that's the type of football that Inzaghi wants to play. Someone that's centre-backs that are able to press high, aggressive, win the ball high up. So Inzaghi has to be backed on those profiles as well. They need to pick the right profiles of centre-backs. They don't just go for the big names just because if someone is available. If this was a boxing match, Inter would have won with a unanimous decision. Yeah, I read someone, I think a pundit said that on TV somewhere as well. But yeah, you could say that. If Inzaghi was Floyd last night, he was giving the punch, the jabs, and he was ducking and diving and getting the jabs in. But unfortunately, Man City, Kirby, got the knockout. The Inter were knocked out. They were the Mike Tyson. They boom. Rodri came in. He gave that triple G. What do you call it? The liver shot, the one that hits you, and then 2 or 3 seconds later, you're okay for 2 or 3 seconds, and you're like, oh damn. That's what that Rodri shot was. Although we did fight back, we didn't die straight away after that. We did fight back after that. Yeah, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was peak Limonova Maitimo, just because the guys, as much as they carried out the plan perfectly off the ball, on the ball, this was not peak Limonova, and this is not on Inzaghi. This is, the players last night. We have to be honest, guys. As much as, and again, this is not the criticism of these guys. I love all of these guys, but they choked last night. Some of them. Hakan, in his home country, Istanbul, we hyped it up a lot because we know, the storyline is perfect for Hakan. Especially with what went on in Turkey this past year, with the earthquake, with all those deaths and everything. There was a script writer's dream story building there. But Hakan, I was especially disappointed with his performance. Lautaro, very disappointing performance. Barella, very disappointing performance. It's like the main guys, Dzeko, Lukaku, like all the main guys, the big money guys, the ones that earn the most in our team, the most PR, the most followers on Instagram, the big guys, they're the ones that choked. They're the ones that choked. Yeah, and Di Marco, as much as he was really good as well, but of course we know his defensive deficiencies. Yeah, don't worry, we'll talk about the Lukaku situation for sure. Barella, Hakan, Lautaro, all disappointed last night. Exactly, Mattia. These were the big guys. But off the ball, these guys ran their heart out. That's one thing, that's the main thing we asked for in terms of effort, in terms of in understanding, heart, sweat, tears. These guys put it all on the line. Look at this, the way they completely tried to nullify. And he said it after the game, Rodri, that the first half he played shit. Like, he literally said it on live TV on BT Sport. I watched it live. And that's because of this, because Inter nullified Rodri in the first half. But then you nullify Rodri, and then you have Stones. That guy completed, I think it's 5 out of 5 dribbles, 6 out of 6 dribbles, something like that. Apparently, since Lionel Messi, no one's completed more dribbles in the Champions League final than John Stones. And that's the strength of this Man City team. Oh, Michael, my brother. Italy went 3 for 3, bro. As he was saying, Italy better not go 3 for 3 L's, and they did, Michael, bro. They did. But appreciate your donation. And yeah, check out his channel, guys. I'm a channel member to Michael's channel. Great guy, super hardworking, always puts in out content. Great football knowledge. So make sure you check him out. Acerbi was a monster, 100%, brother. 100% agree. Hey, we got even the Juve fan here. We were making fun of you guys, making fun of us a minute ago. But I appreciate Arby Comps always tries to be respectful in my comment section. But I'm sure he'll be trolling on Twitter. But yeah, this is where at least Hakan, Brozovic, Barella, they were good at this. The pressing was on point. The understanding tactically what to do, the shadow covering, as they call it, the shadow pressing, covering the angles. They were spot on. They made life so difficult for Man City in that first half. And it showed in terms of, if you look at the, this is UEFA, by the way, official statistics. We covered 114 kilometers. World-class Grinta Fat Gun, exactly. We covered 114 kilometers compared to 112.9 of Man City. So marginal, actually, when you add it up over 12 to 13 players, 1 point something kilometers isn't a big difference, but it shows that we work slightly harder. That's probably also because we have slightly less possession. They had 57, we had 43. But on that end, there's nothing to say to the guys. Perfect. But on the ball, Hakan, as I said, all the guys yesterday, very, very disappointing. Going back to Huyan's comment about Di Marco, this guy, he was giving me a heart attack every single time. It was like, bro, it's Bernardo Silva. No, he is one of the best dribblers in the world. Small, diminutive, small, low center of gravity. He's so good keeping the ball close to him, but Dimarco just kept backing off. This was the first chance of the game. Dimarco, Bernardo almost scores off this. He almost curls it to the far post. Onana was beaten. And Dimarco backs off all the way to the 6-yard box. They kept backing off, and it was similar the whole game. But then he was better when it was higher up the pitch. He was good at like intercepting the ball and driving counterattacks. But there, he was in these moments he was annoying me a lot, and it is a weakness of Dimarco. And I don't know if it's something that he can work on, because I think he knows physically he'd just not be able to cope if he can't do what Kyle Walker does, like where Kyle Walker can go right up to the winger, whether it's Vinicius, whether it's Mbappe, whoever it is in the world. He can keep up with anyone with those quick movements over those first few yards. I think Dimarco recognizes his weakness in terms of pace, but at the same time, I think there can be a middle ground. Like, this is too much. This is too much, like backing off, too much respect from Dimarco. But it didn't cost us in the end. Just something worth noting, as Huyan also pointed out. We got another donation here from Mohammed. Appreciate you, brother. Drop a comment, brother. Drop a comment. Don't just leave a comment and a donation like that. I would like to hear what your opinion is, but I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Next one, yeah. Haaland. This was the only thing Haaland did the whole game. I think he only had 19 touches, guys. That is ghosting a game. If there's anything like ghosting, that is ghosting a game. 19 touches all game. But here he comes alive. De Bruyne. Again, De Bruyne wasn't particularly good either, but this was the one moment of brilliance in those minutes he had before the injury. And this is the thing. I made a similar screenshot in the preview, that even if you give him a head start, or even if you have a head start on Haaland, this guy will somehow be in front of you. And he managed to get a shot off on goal, but it was pretty easy save for Onana. But that's pretty much all that there was from Man City and Haaland in the first half specifically. And now we move on to Inter. As Michael said, Inter tactically perfect. Like here, Dimarco, beautiful. We know what Dimarco has with these pingers that he does to the other side of the pitch. Beautiful ball to the other side of the pitch. And Dumfries, we know, yeah, he didn't have a bad game last night. Dumfries defensively kept Grealish quiet, gave him a hard time, was decent going forward as well. But sometimes he has these moments. Like, how many times have we seen this, especially this season? Last season he was better, Dumfries, but this season it seems like he's almost forgot how to play football at times. And even like, I was watching the BT Sport commentary. Unfortunately, we had bloody Steve McManaman, super biased English commentary, but even he was like, what is he doing? It's like he just wastes this opportunity. He's got three options here. He has Lautaro, who's making a darting run to the near post, and he's got Dzeko on the outside far post, and he's got Barella running, who could also cross it because they've got a 2v1 situation versus Ake here. But he does none of those things. He does none of those. He chooses, actually, he does pass to Barella in the end, but it's way too late. And we end up from this situation in about 10 seconds, we end up at our goal. Like, this ball ends up at Onana because of Dumfries' decision making. This is where Inzaghi was let down last night by the players. Inzaghi was let down by the players. And Shakir here makes a point that like, I have become a Hakan fan this season. Like, this season I've been converted into a Hakan fan. But last night, once again, and when he plays Mezzala, he reminds me of why I wasn't last season, because as much of hard work he puts in, as much as he's become a good tackler defensively, and he's got the shots from distance, and he's got nice corners and free kicks, indirect free kicks. But as a Mezzala, we still lack the ball carrier, which is why Mkhitaryan has been so good for us, because he likes to get the ball and carry it, even if it's just a few meters. So there is a conversation needed to be had with a Hakan as well. Like, I don't think long-term future he can be the left centre mid of Inter. I don't think his future is at Mezzala. I think Hakan's future is, if Brozovic gets sold and he becomes a full-time regista, then I can see Hakan being useful, especially with the rumored renewal that he's going to get, 6 million net a season, which puts him up as one of the top earners in the team. As a mezzala, I still am not a fan of Hakan. I'm still not a fan of Hakan in that position. It's a conversation that needs to be had this summer. But let's see how things develop. To beat Inzaghi last night, God had to smile on City, and he did. That ball into Rodri's path was just difficult to see. What a finish, though. Yeah, and let's get into that. The goal. This was my fear. Like these, and we talked about it in the preview. When you play a 5 at the back formation, or 3, whatever you want to call it, the space between the third centre back and the wing back is always the weakness, because if you have a midfielder making run into that space, no one knows who should be picking him up. And here, and I tweeted this before the game because Umir F1, shouts out to him. He made a great thread on Inter's weaknesses. He's a Man City fan, and he pointed out underlaps and crosses like that. That is a bit of a weakness of ours. And he's got a screenshot there from the Fiorentina game where they almost scored on us. And yeah, here, but also the fact is though, how many centre backs in the world, guys, can make the pass that Akanji made there? Because look at that, there's not even that much of a gap, really. Like if KDB makes that pass, I'm like super impressed. But Akanji, the centre back, making that pass, probably Bastoni, is one of the few centre backs that are able to make this pass. But what a ball into Bernardo Silva. And cutbacks is like the bread and butter of Pep's teams. It's, I would say, more than 50% of their goals must be coming from a cutback. And as Kirby says, the way that then it ends up to Rodri, because it cuts back and is off a rebound of one of our players, the way it bounces back to him, lucky, but then the finish is far from lucky. Beautifully guided into the corner. And but look how many players we have there. They were all sucked in. They were all sucked in by the ball, and no one is marking Rodri. No one is even attempting to block that shot because it's too late. And I know Milan fans have been making fun. I've seen of them making fun of Hakan. He moves out of the way, or the way that they try to block it. But it is what it is. Once he's in that position, the power is in the guy who's shooting, and it's very split second. So I wouldn't expect Hakan or Darmian to be able to react to that in time. But look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players plus Onana in our box, our own players, and none of them anywhere near Rodri. Split seconds. It's all about these little details, Champions League finals, and you get punished. Yeah, Chris, the Sergei thing, as we have alluded to it last few weeks, there have been rumors, and it is possible, but one of the midfielders is going to have to leave, whether it's Brozovic, Hakan, or whoever. Like, there's going to be a sacrifice needed to be made for that to happen. It's not going to be Sergei coming in on top of what we have already. It's going to be Sergei instead of. But it is a possibility, and it's definitely... Again, he's not really a ball carrier. It's strictly he's not that profile, but then he adds those physical traits, the aerial threat. Like, he adds different... Like, his profile is so unique that only maybe Paul Pogba has a profile of Sergei. Like, there's not many other midfielders I can think of that are 1.93 meters or what he is and able to do what he is with the ball. So that definitely would add a different dimension to our midfield that we need. And then, here, Barella, again, this is not easy. But even, again, as I say, I was watching the BT Sport biased English commentary, and even Steve McManaman was saying Barella is much better than this. This is, a very, very difficult opportunity. But if I had to pick any player in our team to have that opportunity, Barella probably is right top of this list, right at the top of this list. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the shot. He completely misguided it way wide. But this was a little opening. This was a little mistake from Ederson at the beginning, and there were a few mistakes from Ederson at the beginning, or little shaky moments, but we just weren't able to take advantage of it. And again, that's what ended up punishing us. And then now let's talk about it. Let's talk about, we keep seeing, the questions about Lukaku. Lucas asked, would you think we will get Lukaku again for next season? I'm seeing people saying we don't want Lukaku next year, or I don't want to see Lukaku again in the shirt. And then there's some people saying, Lukaku should have started. And I'll go back to it. I said I back Inzaghi on any decision he makes. And I knew, you guys know, in the whole build up to this, I was saying Inzaghi's going to start Dzeko, and we knew. And he did in the end start Dzeko. But as much as you do want to criticize Lukaku, this was his first touch. And look where Ruben Diaz is. Ruben Diaz probably him or John Stones or Bernardo Silva, man of the match. But look where he first duel of the game, and he ends up on the floor trying to win the header against Lukaku. And Lukaku heads it perfectly into the path of Dumfries, who wastes this opportunity again. But let me say this. How many chances did we create before Lukaku was on the pitch? And how many chances did we create after Lukaku was on the pitch? If you do want to criticize Lukaku, answer me that question. And then same goes, like, those meme moments that he's had in the past. That Europa League final, he was, of course, became a meme as usual. But he was the one who scored the first goal. We went into the lead in that final against Sevilla. But he just has this knack. I don't know if he's cursed. I don't know what you want to call it. Voodoo, juju, curse, unluckiness. But there's something that follows Lukaku throughout his career that's leading him to these meme moments where he becomes the butt of the joke. And I do feel sorry for him. As much as he does deserve criticism for not taking his chances last night, I do feel sorry for him. He always seems to end up being the butt of the jokes. When last night, Dzeko, Lautaro, his strike partners deserve just as much criticism, because Lautaro, he also has these moments. He's gone viral at the World Cup he became a meme as well at the World Cup. And last night, he had the full 90 minutes. And until, Lukaku came on, there was nothing. He didn't create anything. And here, I don't know if he made the right decision. Yeah, I don't want to be an armchair analyst now and just say, Edison's opened his legs. He should have just slotted it under Edison's legs and nutmegged him. I'm not a professional, so I'm not going to tell him what he should be doing. But there's another option there. Probably Lukaku does get intercepted. The way Ruben Diaz was playing last night, it looks like, is it Rodri following him there? Probably gets intercepted. But at the end of the day, the optics of the chance don't save our boy Lautaro there. And again, that's another chance that goes missing. And what was, as we've been saying, as much as we've, like, our streak over the last 2 months, what's the main difference? We've improved defensively, yes, but we're not spotless. The main difference is the fact that our strikers, or we take our chances. And last night, this was the Inter from the beginning of the season, when we used to miss all of our chances. We created more XG than Man City, but we were let down. Last night. Let me give a shout out to Bill Zilla, who's come in with a very, very generous donation once again. My brother from Canada. You talk to this guy on Instagram DMs often. Sky Punjab enjoyer he is. Big respect to you for always creating content that's relatable and intelligent. No, thank you, Bill Zilla. Thank you for the support all year round, all the time. You're always very kind to me in the Instagram DMs and everything. And I very, very much appreciate your donation to the channel. Yeah, very, very much appreciate that, brother. It doesn't go unnoticed. Prop isn't Lukaku. Other than him, we have Correa, who's been poor. over to Dzeko. Hey Nico, hope you're doing well, brother. Tough one to swallow, but we keep our head held high for sure. Yeah, I saw the fan base split last night in terms of in my comment sections after my reaction. People abusing Lukaku, people defending Lukaku. But again, it's funny. Everything goes to Lukaku, but no one is talking about Lautaro not winning enough duels against Diaz and the centre backs, not creating any other chances for himself, or Dzeko. Like everything goes to Lukaku. I understand that. In the end, the big chances fell to him. But there was also this chance as well. As much as DiMarco did have the second one, but why did he choose to loop it over? Like the commentator was saying as well, rather than hitting it down, DiMarco here from a few yards out, he decides to do the hardest thing possible here and tries to loop it over Edison, which hits the crossbar. Because this is a chance as well. This is the initial big chance because Akanji falls over, and that means that DiMarco has a completely free header, and he should have been doing better on his first attempt of the header straight away. But he goes for this looping header and obviously hits the crossbar, and then he hits he hits Lukaku. And again, here we don't know. I mean, if you see the angle from behind, it looks like that Diaz probably was going to be able to block that because he does that afterwards as well, doesn't he? Diaz, he has this one save that he makes where somehow after Lukaku's header, he manages to twist his neck just in time, but then he sends the ball wide rather than he could have scored an own goal in that. Like, again, it's the optics. The optics look really bad on Lukaku on this one. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm speaking what I think is facts, that I think he's being scapegoated once again for a loss. Same that he was for Belgium, because with Belgium at the World Cup, until Lukaku came on, they did F all. Lukaku actually, came on. This was that chance, anywhere. This is the one where I can, criticize him. It's like anywhere, brother, but there. Edison obviously deserves praise for making the save, but anywhere else but there, brother. Anywhere else but there. He heads it down, doing all the things that strikers are told to do, heading it down into the ground, making it difficult for the keeper. But again, not the easiest chance because Gosens, gets that header in towards him, is coming quickly at him. And again, look at the way he looks, Lukaku, the way, look at that body posture. Like, he just looks funny, doesn't it? So he becomes the meme. He's just a very easily memeable player. The butt of the jokes, easy target. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, what's up, then? Grizz, Lauti and Lukaku's redemption arc was almost complete. Yeah, man. You guys know I was pushing for that arc. That was one of the main storylines I was pushing for. Because if Lukaku had that redemption story last night, it would have been one of the greatest redemption stories we've seen in world football in this generation. Anyway, Lautaro's redemption is more just, within the people that watched him at the World Cup. But this guy's got a World Cup, so he it's not really... That story to me wasn't too big. Again, last night, the rest of the world is not impressed with Lautaro. He didn't show the Lautaro we see in Serie A. He didn't really show again last night. But I don't really care about that. I don't care if Prem Tods are not rating Lautaro because of these performances. But I care that Lautaro wasn't able to, show his real quality last night. But again, as I said, like the spotlight goes on Lukaku. And then one last chance as well. The last chance, yes, Ashraf, we still are heartbroken. This was actually going in, guys. The corner from DiMarco to Gosens, saved by Edison. I saw an angle from behind. I wish I could get the screenshot of that. But this was flying into the top corner, like into the side netting. So it was going to sneak in. And if it didn't, like, look where Bellanova is, number 12. He was doing the D'Ambrosio far post run. He was there, ready to pounce, even if it didn't. So Edison, I mean, yeah, I talked about John Stones, Bernardo, or Ruben Diaz being man of the match. Edison is probably, just as much of a man of the match. And Rodri, of course, for the goal scorer. But Edison's probably just as much a man of the match because the couple of saves he had to make were massive. And affected the outcome of the match. And this was a massive one. And it was literally pretty much the last kick of the game, because afterwards it was just Brozovic, and it went out for a goal kick, and the game ended there. Not sure if you talked about it. Oh, okay, Theo Sander. So I guess that's probably a move for the Primavera. More Scandinavians coming into Inter. I will have a look into it later. But yeah, that's the game there. That's the game. Inzaghi, as I said, perfect plan, prepared it perfectly. Maybe the only criticism of Inzaghi is the substitutions, in terms of, I think Mkhitaryan only got I think came on the 82nd, 83rd minute. I think he could have come on a little bit earlier, because Hakan's game was pretty bad. But apart from that, yeah, I wouldn't have brought Correa on. I know he usually does in Serie A, but I wouldn't have brought Correa on. Gagliardini didn't come on, so he deserves praise for that. But apart from that, yeah, there's not real much criticism I can give to Inzaghi for substitutes either. I think Inzaghi was perfect. Just the players were almost perfect, but just not quite enough. Just not quite enough. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap up now, so we're gonna go to the last few comments. Yeah, I mean, it's like a combination though, Shakir. If Man City's players, Man City's players, let's not lie, it's not Man City's players look like they were also crumbling under the pressure a couple of times. That mistake from a couple of mistakes from Ederson, Akanji. They didn't look like they were like a team that's already been in the final before. So it's a combination of those things. In the end, it was just details, small details. If Lukaku does get a bit more direction onto his header, if he's not in the way of the Di Marco header, if Lautaro makes the right decision, if, but it's just like small details. At the end of the day, I think they have less experience than Champions League final, these guys, but they don't have, Brozovic has been to a World Cup final. Lautaro, won a World Cup. Cherby's won, Bastoni's won the Euros, Barella's won the Euros. There's plenty of experience in this team. It's just small details. But we go again. Hopefully we will learn from this. And yeah, you guys know what time it is in the summer. It will be time to whip out that Excel sheet. As much as I hate it, but it is the easiest way to visualize the realistic way that Inter's budget will be working this summer, just to give you guys a perspective, rather than letting you guys believe any links, any transfer rumors that you see out there. I'll give you the truth to what you can expect and what Marotta and Auxilio and co have to do and work with this summer. Yeah, he probably wasn't fit enough to play, but I'm nitpicking now with Inzaghi. As I said, probably could have maybe played 15 minutes. That's what I'm saying with Kirby. I'm not saying that he should have played the second 45 minutes. But yeah, to me, Inzaghi was perfect. He was just let down by the players. But yeah, guys, we've gone an hour. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you, Mattia, for being kind of like the moderator within the chat. Thank you to Lucas, who became a new channel member. Appreciate you a lot, brother. Thank you. Dankeschön. Thank you to Chris for the donation. Thank you to Michael for the donation. Check out his channel once again. Thank you to Mohammed. Once again, leave a comment, brother. I didn't see any comment from you, but appreciate your donation. And my brother Bozilla, thank you again for the donation, my brother. And thank you all. Hope you guys enjoyed that. A bit of positivity, a bit of negativity. But we got to move on. And let's see how we move on, how this team continues on from last night. Hopefully we build from this. This is not an arrival. Hopefully this is a building point, a start point for this team to continue being in the latter stages of this competition and bring home the second star, the 20th Scudetto home next season. Let's see what Marotta and Auxilio cook up over the summer. And you know what time it is, guys. You will expect content over the next few days will be, of course, season review, grades. So we're grading our players and Inzaghi, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, then we move into transfer review, Serie A team of the year. Probably I'll make a video on that. And yeah, the transfer videos will be all throughout the summer, my team, all throughout the summer. Amazingly being sang. No, I'm not much of a drinker, to be honest. I'm a very occasional drinker. Only if it's like a wedding or a big party. Yeah, I'm not a big drinker. But I'm sure your advice will be useful to other Interisti around the world, maybe. But thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout all over summer. Content is not stopping. It won't be as often. Obviously, we don't have games every week or every few days, but depending on how busy we are with summer, that's how much content you can expect. Ciao ragazzi, forza Inter sempre.